Ritenour. I currently am a senior at Brownsburg High School, and my main event is high jump. But this year, I've also been trying to do hurdles and soon long jump. Yeah, I'll be going to Indiana State next year for high jump specifically. But yeah.
Nice, nice. Emily, how did you get into the sport? And then specifically, what made you say, hey, I want to do high jump?
So back all the way in about fourth grade, there was a CYO opportunity, and I loved doing like the run clubs I had in my elementary school, and so I told my parents I wanted to join the CYO, and I actually started as a long jumper and like a mid distance runner, but I wanted to be a sprinter, and then I tried playing around with high jump, but I never really was able to compete in that. And then
Mhm.
once I got to middle school, I started going with my middle school coaches and I did the hurdles then. And then in eighth grade, actually, I there was a meet where they had no girl high jumpers in there, and I kind of had some experience, and so I just said, "Oh well, I can just try it. Just put me in." And at that meet, I cleared. I don't remember exactly what it was. It was a while ago, but I did really good, and that's kind of just what sparked high jump for me.
Yeah.
All right. So on this year, are you on the 180 tour or the 360 tour? You're just taking it all back. You're gonna pull in this long jump and you're gonna pull in the hurdles. Just
Yeah.
I'm gonna, make my last hurrah and catch them all again.
Yeah, I mean, in college, I've kind of talked to the coach a little bit, but I might be interested in becoming maybe a multi-athlete. And I know that hurdles and long jump are a part of that. So I kind of just want to like prepare myself better for it.
Nice. I love that. That's so. What would you say has been, or who has been your biggest inspiration in the sport of track and field?
I wouldn't say I have like very like direct inspirations, but I definitely follow all like the big jumpers like Dontavius Hill and I don't know how to say his last name, but Eli Kosovo. I don't really know, but the from
Mhm.
GBCU, I just like to follow up on all those like elite jumpers just to see like any they post a lot of tips and just their form. I analyze their form and see how I compare it to my form in my videos and so I can see how I can like improve in areas that they do well in. But those are kind of like my biggest inspirations.
All right. Well, it sounds like technology plays a role here.
Mhm.
So how do you like who does your video breakdown and what do you learn from it?
So at all my meets and even sometimes in practices, my coach will stand. You kind of saw kind of how you guys were doing yesterday for your team, your athlete. But so yeah, he'll stand directly parallel to the bar and he'll get my whole run through. And he's kind of taught me how I can see it for myself and how I can help my teammates see it for themselves as well. So I kind of, since I've been doing it for about 4 years now, I've really learned how to analyze every little minor tweak, every little bit, and just how everything looks in my form.
Yeah, no, you're studying film. That's a really important aspect of getting better or seeing
Mhm.
how you look when you're doing it at your best. So no, that's great. What would you say? I mean, running as long as you've been running and competing as long as you've been running, what would you say is your most memorable moment from competing?
I think my most memorable moment might have been indoor state my sophomore year. I remember my coach wasn't able to go to that meet, so I brought along one of my teammates, and so it was my first meet like ever not having my coach there, but he gave me all the tips, he gave me all the rundown of everything to do. So together we just like worked together and I PR'd at that meet. I had a big PR at that meet. I really wasn't expecting it. I remember I cleared 5.5 for the first time and I had a huge adrenaline rush. And there was only about like three of us left. So I went like straight again. And that adrenaline carried me. And that's when I PR'd and got 5.6 for the first time. So
Yes.
I love like just thinking back on that. And she graduated. So it's just a really great memory just thinking when I think of her, like that's kind of like the moments that I think of her.
Yeah.
Moment.
And then you went and told your coach, I don't need a coach. I
Right.
got this. Did my best
Well,
without you.
Well, this is this year was the second year of HSR that I didn't have him there. So and I placed third at both of those meets. So
Yes.
maybe.
He's jinxing you, maybe. No, I'm just kidding.
Look, look. I love that. That's what a great memory. So how have you been able to balance being an athlete while also your academics?
Well, I definitely, especially in season, I definitely don't have as much time as I normally would. And I'm also balancing, I have quite a few AP and dual credits this year alone. And so pretty much after school, I'll just go home and I'll eat dinner, shower, do all that stuff. And then I just set aside all that time just for homework, just so I can get all that done. And I kind of prioritize what I need more and just like what subjects I can, I guess, I need more help in. So I'll focus on that. But then I also just always end up at the end of my night, I'll end up stretching just for recovery, just so I can kind of have like a healthy balance.
Now, not to bounce back to this, but
Hmm.
I'm just thinking like when you were by yourself and you knew you weren't going to have your coach there, how did you prepare for that mentally? Like, because it's a big moment and they're not
Hmm.
there. And the person who's walked you all this way, they said, okay, you go in the door by yourself. So how do you prepare mentally for that?
Well, it was definitely a really hard thing to overcome. I was really nervous initially, but I kind of I channeled that, I guess, anxiety and that nervousness into my performances. I also had to rely, like, I knew what I was doing. I had to rely on the knowledge that I know what I'm doing, like, my body knows what I'm doing. And I really had to channel in on my mental just so I can just reassure myself that, that I've done this before. I can do it again. Not that I don't need him, but it is an individual sport. And
Mhm,
so
mhm,
I do realize there's going to be times where there's going to be conflicts and he's not going to be able to be there. And so I just have to step it up and
mhm,
just kind of do it on my own.
mhm.
That's cool.
What would you say is the most challenging aspect of being a track athlete?
Honestly, I would say the mental part of it, especially in high jump and just mainly all field events, I feel like mental health is a very like prevalent thing. I wouldn't say it's like it overrides physical health, but obviously if you're going into your jumps saying, "Oh, I'm not going to clear this," you're not going to clear it. But if you're at your mark and you just say like, "Oh, I know what to do. I've done this before," then you can really just channel that into your performance. And I mean, I've really seen that it helps recently. My mental health is definitely like when it comes to sports, I've had to, I guess, I've definitely changed like how I think about it. I feel like I used to really get like self-confidence issues whenever I guess I wouldn't like get the highest marks that I was expecting to do, but it's all a part of the process. And I've had to learn that over the past 4 years. But yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's all about how we handle the disappointments.
Yeah.
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 So and what helped you? How did you become somebody who could handle the disappointments, the setbacks? How did that, just it's like a water off a duck's back now? So I mean, how did you get there
How did I get to
to the point where you can handle the disappointments and the setbacks and still move forward and keep going?
well, I mean, I feel like a couple years ago I definitely really struggled with it a lot, especially in my or I guess the like regionals, sectionals and all that the big important meets. But I feel like in that off season was when I really started to I guess put my faith into God and Jesus. And so I've kind of used my like faith as one of my main motivators and just I know that I can like trust that he's got me this far.
What would you say being an athlete, how has it shaped who you are, your character?
I've definitely had to learn discipline and just hard work doesn't come easy. Being an athlete, I've really learned how to like manage my time just after practice with school and just I guess how I just see like all of my like upsets and it's really just changed my like mindset overall. Just even though like in those like hard practices, like I can get through that and like I can apply that in other things as well. Like in my schoolwork, like say there's like a hard project, I can just get through that and yeah.
Now, a lot of times parents have a pretty big influence on us,
Hmm.
Like I know my dad would always talk to me about being disciplined and all those, big heavy things. What type of values would you say your parents have instilled in you?
The only thing that really comes to my mind is he's talking whenever he says this, he's meaning more of like for college and my career path, but he's always told us to me and my brother to choose something that like nobody wants to do, but there's like definitely like room to grow in. And I've definitely applied that within track because, like I said before, nobody was in the high jump event. So then I put myself into that place. So then I knew I could grow in there. I knew that I had potential. And so I just really wanted to see that expand. But yeah, definitely seen that in my athletic journey.
That's awesome. Look, you got to share your dad's name for sure because that's clearly that
Yeah.
pushed you in a direction to do something that probably, well, clearly others on your team at the time weren't thinking about doing
Hmm.
it, and it's been successful for you. So, what's his name?
Oh, Dan Ritenour.
Yes, shout out to Dad. So, when you're in these competitions, you've been on some great platforms, state and beyond. How would you say you view your competition?
If being honest, I don't view my competition as very like I don't know. I kind of don't see him. I don't really know. Okay, I kind of see him more not as like friends, but I'm very talkative when I go to meets, and I really just like having support everywhere I go. And so I've noticed that I'll just talk to whoever at these big meets because I'm going to see these girls again and again at all these meets, especially like say at our rival school Avon. I've gotten pretty close with those girls. I know I'm gonna see them at multiple meets. And so I just think having I guess support, even though they're my competitors, like we can boost each other up. Like there's no need to be mean about it or anything, but I think just overall having good support even from competitors just is really great.
Yeah, oh, that's good.
So tell me, track and field is a very different sport. It's always ups and downs. How would you define success in terms of your experiences on the track and in the field? How do you define success or a good day, I guess?
Mm-hmm. The way that I kind of have viewed my competitions and practices recently as being successful is me and my coach will kind of say, oh, this is what I need to work on specifically, like say knee drive. If I am able to accomplish that and fix that in that practice, then I would say it's a good day. But overall, in this like the long run, I would say if I'm hitting consistent marks or I'm consistently fixing my form and just I'm hitting the places where I want to hit and just I'm seeing improvement throughout the season, that's kind of what I would view as successful in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. And when you reach those heights and those successes, how do you celebrate when it's like, I really had a great meet?
I mean, I get really excited whenever I hit like those really big, like say PRs or just really good meets. But whenever like I don't know, I definitely have a boost in my confidence going into new meets because I know like I can do this again. Like I've done it again and again. But I honestly celebrate like after I get home. I love ice cream. Like I'm a big sweet tooth, but
Okay.
just like there's like a little I don't know, not like a little cheat, but like a little sweet treat after
Mhm.
my big just wins.
That's,
Oh, that's
I'm not
good.
gonna hold it against you.
Yeah.
Oh no. Now, high jump is something that can be at times frustrating. You know,
Mhm.
if something's just not coming together, and you've been working at it, you've been trying. What keeps you motivated during those tough times to keep going after it, to keep trying, to keep working, to keep the knee drive going, and everything else?
Mhm. I think just because what I've seen in my past 3 seasons is that I realize in the beginning of my season, I'm coming from not being able to practice at all my form, and I have to understand my form's not gonna be it's not going to be perfect in the beginning of my season, but I really rely on the process. I really have grown to understand that things aren't going to be perfect, but it's all going to come together soon. If I just keep that positive mentality, then I'm going to be able to see those results that I want. Because I especially saw that last season. I in the indoor, I was not seeing good results that I wanted, but then towards the end of my season, I mean my form, I feel like, was at its best. And I mean, I even ended up getting ninth at state. So it works.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So
you got on the podium. That
Yeah,
counts for something.
Exactly.
yeah, it's
Exactly.
barely, but it's there.
Still,
No, it's
you were
there.
there.
Not barely.
I'll
You
take
did
it.
it. You did
Yeah.
it.
I'll
So,
take it.
yeah. What would you say sets apart a great athlete from a good athlete?
Definitely the discipline. It's really hard whenever the people around you are guys kind of being negative towards, I say, like the lactate workouts or just any of those hard workouts. Just even just having like that good positive attitude also sets those athletes apart. I mean, the JV runners will look up to the varsity athletes. So whenever those runners see that our varsity athletes have like good positive attitudes and aren't complaining about the runs, aren't complaining about what events they're in, I think that's really good. But also just being able to push through and just not base your whole life around track, but I guess kind of like base like making sure that you're getting enough sleep, that in that sense, like eating healthy, just discipline in that sense.
Speaking of eating health,
Mm-hmm.
what do you do to kind of help maintain your physical health and mental health, prevent injuries, all that? What's kind of your routine?
Well, I've recently adopted at least taking minimum of like 15 minutes to stretch and and just recover, maybe like using like ice baths, taking time out of my day to do that daily. Nutrition wise, I've kind of been eating slightly healthier. Just when I'm in season, I don't necessarily track it all. Like I don't track macros, but I'm not eating junk food while I'm in season. Like I'm not I'm just trying to like make sure that my body feels right and that I'm able to recover from those harder practices or harder meets, but really just trying to do everything that I can just in my life to make sure that I'm healthy for tax season.
How would you say you balance your individual goals from the team's goals?
I would say, I mean, we all know, or I guess we both know that like the individual, if you place individually, that's going to contribute to the team goals. And so obviously every team wants to win, and so does each individual. So I just really have to focus on myself in that moment. And just when I hit my goals of saying winning or PRing, then that's also going to contribute to our team goals because like those performance when I have a good performance, that's going to contribute positively to our team, and our team's going to be able to benefit from those extra points that I scored.
Now I'm gonna ask you if you could play any other sport. I'm getting a little bit off topic, not off topic, but if you could play any other sport, what would it be?
Okay, I don't know if it's quite a sport yet, but pickleball I think is so fun.
Oh yeah.
it's
Oh, it is.
It yeah, it's very fun. I mean, whenever I play, I mean, I'm not all that great, but I love having fun with it. I think all the friends I just bring with it, we can all just mess around, have fun, have a little competitiveness in with it, but it's kind of like a lighter, not as challenging activity, but it still brings me like a lot of joy. But I do actually believe it might be a sport now. Is it?
I, I feel so, but don't quote me. I
Yeah,
think
that's
it is. Yeah.
I've heard rumors, but I'm not sure if they're true.
I have my paddle and ball set too, so I'm right there with you. I
Mhm.
love it.
I'm coming
Mhm.
one day. I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there. So, well.
I mean, it's not very like it's not too hard to pick up, but
Well, that's because you're
really
in
good.
shape.
Yeah.
You're like if you're not, it's yeah. So it's
Mhm.
because you're in shape. You're able to run back and forth
Yeah.
and do all different types of moves.
Mhm.
Hmm.
What advice would you give to younger athletes who are thinking about running or currently running, thinking about the high jump, maybe?
I would say the best athlete that I've had to give even recently is again with make sure that your mental health is like in check. Like you're going to yeah, you may go into meets with high expectations, but you're not always going to meet those expectations. And I think you just kind of have to humble yourself in a way to take a step back and understand that you're not always going to be perfect. You're not always going to be hitting those marks and it's not always going to be a good day. But I whenever I have to give advice to the other girls on my team, I kind of will use my personal examples and tell them like I just try to boost them up. I try to give them like tips on how they can, I guess, help it, but really I know what works for me. I don't know what works for them, but I just try my best to just boost up my teammates and just so then they don't get too upset about it and just I just want to see them succeed as well. And I want to leave them in a good place for even when I'm gone.
That's great.
What are you looking forward to the most this season?
This season,
Yes.
I really want to PR this year. I've been at 5'6". I've hit it a couple times in previous seasons, but again, I got it my sophomore season and I have yet to go above that. So I'm really looking forward to this season perfecting my form, just getting straight. If I get straight vertical, then I'm gonna get it, and I know it. And I'm really not confident. Well, I'm very confident that I'm gonna get it, but I believe like I'm gonna get it one of these
Yes,
days.
yes, absolutely. You will. Oh. If your teammates or coaches could describe you in one word, what would it be?
I actually asked them this question. I had to prepare. One of them told me that I'm just always happy and I'm always like positive and I just have like a good mindset. And another one told me that I'm pretty dedicated to high jump. So I think those are some pretty good. I'm glad that's the traits that they told me that I possess.
Yeah, love it.
Well, Emily, thank you for joining us.
Of course.
Yes,
Thanks for having me.
yes,
Yeah, this was great.
absolutely. If our viewers wanted to follow you, what platforms could we follow you on?
Probably Instagram Instagram is what I mainly use. I have a Twitter account, but I'm not very active on that. I probably should be a little more, but just on those are my two main platforms when it comes to track and field.
Nice. And is it your name? Is it your first last name?
Yeah, it's Emily J. Ritenour. So I
You. Well, good luck this season. We're looking forward to seeing you.